If earth peace is to herald the dawn of the new age, realize that
Humanity is one's only religion, breath one's only prayer, and consciousness one's only God. Like when Adiguru Shankaracharya, he had this process of deduction and induction, and I will sing to you the shloka of Shankaracharya, showing that he was one of the most masterly intellects the world has ever known of all time. He was the Buddha of knowledge, the Gyan Yoga, like the Buddha himself. They say he was an incarnation of Shiva. So now we'll wait, let these people settle down, otherwise they'll make a lot of noise and they'll spoil your fun in hearing the beautiful. I'm going to chant for you the Nirvan Shatak. And I'll just brief it up to them. How we must get to the state. How we must get to the state of Shiva. How we must get to the state of enlightenment. So now I was talking about the 4 types of yogas, how you can get to God, how you can get to Shiva. The 4 types of yogas are Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Raj Yoga. I finished with Bhakti Yoga, I finished with Karma Yoga, the philosophy of enlightened action. Now I am talking about Jnana Yoga, the knowledge of discrimination. So you must know, and then ultimately I'll go to the Raj Yoga, with which I am concerned, what I am teaching you. Of course, I am teaching it with Bhakti, Karma, Gyan and Raj. Don't think that they can be segregated. The different types of yogas are like the different types of yogas. Chris, you can get this side. That's all. And the last person can move a little to your left. So when you come here, people think it's different universities, they clash, there's a difference. No, they aren't. Karma Yoga blends into Bhakti Yoga blends into Jnana Yoga blends into Raj Yoga. It's like the colors of a rainbow. If you ever see a rainbow, it's not a distinct violet line and then an indigo and then a red. They're not sharp lines, they're soft lines. They're soft colors which blend into one another.
Aye.
And so also all the yogic systems blend into one another. Like if we go to the Berkeley University, we have many different subjects. Of course, the boys are doing their own different subjects of extracurricular activities, but they all blend into one another, all the subjects. You know, there's math, there's geography, there's philosophy. So the different subjects doesn't break up the university. It's still Berkeley University, different faculties. So also the different yogas are in the one university. The purpose of the university is to lead you to God, to qualify you, to give you knowledge. So the knowledge which is given, one of the greatest masters who gave this divine knowledge, the greatest masters who gave this divine knowledge was known as the Adi Guru Shankaracharya. And he said that it is good to analyze who you are. Who are you? He says, am I the body? No. Am I the leg? No. Am I the eyes? No. So individually, as you eliminate a portion of you, as you keep eliminating, you know that you are not this body, as I've written in my poem. You are not this house of flesh and bone which sleeps, decays and dies. You are immortal consciousness, Lord of the earth and the skies. I am not the mind. I am not the intellect. So he sings this beautiful Nirvan Shatak where one by one he analyzes and eliminates what he is not. I am not this, I am not this, and ultimately says that I am divine. I am one with God. I am of God, I am of God. I am Shiva, I am Shiva. So in the process of Jnana Yoga, and he goes on to say, now this is one of the most ancient languages in the world, most perfectly formed. It is best understood when it is sung. By understood in your linear thinking, it shouldn't be you should understand what and the it is. You should feel good and be healed when you hear it. You don't understand with your brain box. You understand with your heart. Om Mano Buddhi Hankara Chitta Ninaham Nacha Shrotra Jivve Nacha Grana Netre Nacha Vyoma Bhumir Na Tejo Na Vayur Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So he says, I am not the mind, nor the intellect, nor the ego. Mano buddhi hamkara chitta ninaham. Mind, intellect, ego, I am not. Mano buddhi hamkara chitta ninaham nacha shrotra jivve nacha grana netre. I am not the tongue, the eyes, nor the five senses. He goes on eliminating what he is not to get to the source. He's trying to understand who he is. So he's separating the apparent man from the real man. The apparent man is your physical body, which sleeps, decays and dies. And the real man is your soul, the hamsa, the psyche, spiritual soul, the divine Atman. Name dvesha rago. Then he goes on to the qualities. If I'm not the mind and the ego, and I'm not my tongue and my eyes, then perhaps what could it be then? Name dvesha rago, name lobha moho, madho naiva me naiva matsarya bhavo. Na dharmo, na chartho, na kamo, na moksha, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So he says, Na me dvesha rago na lobho namo. He says, I am not hatred or repulsion. I am not attachment. Then what am I? Na me dvesha rago na lobho namo. Madho naiva me naiva matsarya bhavo. So I am not jealousy nor greed, nor the desire of lust. Then what am I? Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So the refrain is always, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. So by constantly reminding him that I am not these qualities and I am divine, I am God, the person tends to transform himself into God. Because the mind takes on the color of what it thinks. The mind takes on the nature of what it thinks. And ultimately the mind dissolves to become of God. It gives way to consciousness because mind is only a differentiated portion of consciousness. I. Consciousness is pure. Differentiated consciousness is mind. Na mrityur na shanka na me jati bheda pita naiva me naiva mata cha janma. He says, na mrityur na shanka. So he said, I'm not death, nor am I birth. Neither am I creed or color or apartheid. I'm not a racist person. I'm not a white or a black or a Muslim or a Christian. This is all man-made humbug. This is all man-made humbug. So then he says, if you're not this, Pitane, Vamene, Vamata, Cha Janma. So at this high state, of course, I can say this in India, but I'm very shy to say it in America that I am not my father nor my mother, neither have they given me birth. Because here people tend to respect their parents less. So I'm not encouraging you to disrespect them, but what I'm saying that when you reach the level of the Shankaracharya, where he realized that neither the father nor the mother gave me birth, I came of my own accord, I am going according to my own karma, I have been liberated into the finale of Paramartha Satya Brahma Nirvana. I am the Shiva. He says, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. न मृत्युर न शंका न मे जाति भेदा पिता नैव मे नैव माता च जन्म न बंधुर न मित्रम गुरुर नैव शिष्य. I am not the friend, no friends, nor the guru, nor the shishya. I am Shiva. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. न मृत्युर न शंका न मे जाति भेदा पिता नैव मे नैव माता च जन्म द बंधुर न मित्रम गुरुर नैव शिष्य. चिदानंद रूप शिवोहम शिवोहम. न पुण्यम न पापम न सौख्यम न दुखम न वेदा न मंत्रा न तीर्था न यज्ञः. अहम भोजनम नैव भोज्यम न भोक्ता. चिदानंद रूप शिवोहम शिवोहम. चिदानंद रूप शिवोहम शिवोहम. चिदानंद रूप शिवोहम शिवोहम. So he says, न पुण्यम न पापम न सौख्यम न दुखम. I am not virtue nor vice, neither am I sorrow nor happiness. Then what in heavens am I? If I am not this and not that and not that. Na punyam, na papam, na saukyam, na dukkham, na veda, na mantra, na tirtha, na yajnaha. I am not the Vedas, I am not the holy books. Neither am I the mantra. Neither am I holy pilgrimage. Tirtha. Neither am I the sacred fire ceremony. Then what are you and what are you? Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I'm Shiva, I'm Shiva, I'm Shiva, I'm Shiva. Shivoham, 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 Shivoham. And then ultimately he goes on to say, if I'm not all these things of my physical body and senses and emotions and ego, and I'm Shiva, what is Shiva constituted of? What is the Lord God made of? Of course, just as well as you and I know, he knew better that in words he could not be described. But he goes on to say, Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vibhurvyapya sarvatra sarvendriyana samave samatva na bandhur na mukta chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. He completes the circuit. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vibhurvyapya sarvatra sarvendriya. See the beauty of the Sanskrit language. You could never sing it like this in a hymn with such philosophic depth. I could definitely sing all things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. But this is kindergarten stuff compared to what this is. I mean, it's very kindergarten stuff because Christianity is a baby religion. It started 2,000 years ago. This started 20,000 years ago. So there's bound to be a difference. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vibhurvyapya sarvatra sarvendriyanam. So he says, I am nirvikalp, with no desire and no thought form. There's the pure eternal now. I am the pure eternal now. The zero not zero. The absolute. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo. I am nameless and I am formless. Vibhur vyapya sarvatra sarvendriyana means I have engulfed the whole of the isness of creation. I am the everywhere and the nowhere. My center is everywhere. In every atom of your being, in every subatomic particle is my center and my consciousness pervading. My center is everywhere, but my circumference is nowhere. I am boundless. I am boundless in my knowingness, for I am Shiva, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Everybody. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupa
Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham.
Sab bolo.
Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham.
Close your eyes and imagine the moon on the left side and the Ganga flowing from the top of your head. The galaxies are flowing out.
Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. 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 Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham.
Little faster.
Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham.
Faster.
Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham.
Keep up with me.
Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. 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 Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham.
So this is Gyan Yoga, but what you were singing now involves Karma Yoga because it is selfless. It involves Bhakti Yoga because it has devotion and love in it. It involves Gyan Yoga because it is discriminating your real self from your imaginary self, and it also evolves and involves the Raj Yoga, which I'm going to tell you about, because you can't get to the state of Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham unless you practice the Raj Yoga. It is known as the lightning path. It is not for everyone. I do agree. The devotion and bhakti is for everyone. But if you go the normal way of Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga and other yogas, it would, in normal circumstances, take 1,000,000 years to express cosmic consciousness. Out of which, let me tell you, 500,000 years or more you have already done in your past lives. So you've come a long way. You have come a long way. Now it remains for you to complete the circuit. And therefore you must practice what is known as the Vajrayana. That's what they teach. What has happened here in many of the institutes, when India 1,000 years ago and more, I think if it is, yes, about 1,000 years or so, 1,000 years or more, have taught the Vajrayana, and people are not practicing it, it would do them well to practice it, even in the institutes here. When they asked the Dalai Lama, what do you think of India? They asked the Dalai Lama, the greatest person. I want to clear this concept in the minds of American people, because I'm not trying to show that America is very mighty and it reached the moon, or India is very spiritual. Not at all. I'm just making a mere statement of facts. I'm putting things in their proper place. For one of our greatest and most revered spiritual teachers, and a very great soul, the Dalai Lama, they asked him, and he said just half a sentence, 3 words. He said, what do you think of India? So he stood up and he did this, and he said, India is my guru. Finished. That's the end of the speech. So it is like people from America, they go to India to teach the Indian people yoga. So, but I love them, they are so innocent, the people of America. And the enlightened ones, they fly from here. They take the flight, not by catering, but by plane. For Lakshmi has smiled upon them. And whoever Lakshmi smiles on, they are the teachers of the world. It's all a game of liquid Lakshmi. So it's very paradoxical, it's very ironical for me, who's trained in the Himalayas for so many years under the greatest of masters. When I see another bunch of Coca-Cola enlightened masters here, that I'm wondering what sort of a linear enlightenment is this? The enlightenment is very linear and intellectual. But it's good, the effort is there, but out of proportion. There are more Buddhas in America than there are ordinary students. There are more teachers in America than there are ordinary students who want to learn. I suppose it's a phase, I'm not criticizing, I'm just trying to learn and understand. Because I went to Hawaii once, I said, who are the healers here? The healer teachers and Reiki master put their hand. Every single person put their hand up in the hall. So I said to myself, why am I here? Because we haven't even started. Compared to certain states in the Himalayas, what the masters are teaching. Although I have the Siddhi, I am a Siddhi, I haven't even started on those advanced stages. And the Kriya, the true Kriya will be given after 2008. Yes? What is going on there? Okay. Now, we go to the fourth stage called the Raj Yoga system, means the royal yoga, which was guarded from the ancient of days by the royal rishis and the sages and the royal kings of the solar dynasty. The Raj Yoga is called the lightning path. The practice is essentially through the spinal cord. In the spine there is a thin tube known as the Sushumna Nadi, and it is through the Sushumna Nadi that the Kundalini awakens, penetrates the lotus shrines. His Kundali sting ego mine with nectar poison so sublime, penetrating all my lotus shrines, making me to myself divine. It's a description of Kundalini. O mother of the mystic deep, you are life, its livingness you keep. So I tried in feeble words to express the power and majesty of the Divine Mother, Kundalini. I don't think in any other religion or form they worship the Kundalini like we do in India as the Divine Motherhood of God. It's an aspect of God, and she merges into God. And as you travel along the path of Shiva Shakti Kriya Yoga, Kriya Yoga is the initial boost which merges into Raj Yoga. Kriya Yoga is the link between the Hatha Yoga system and the Raj Yoga system, which Gorakhnath was the great master, the one who fused Hatha Yoga and Raj Yoga by the process of Kriya Yoga. And it is the divine Gorakshanath. He about whom not may be said, who gave us this sacred science. From the ancient of days, as Aradhya Kalam, Kalagninath, he initiated Gautam the Buddha into the science of the lightning path called the Vajrayan, the Kriya Yoga, the Shiva Shakti Anusandhan, the Pranapan Yatna. They also said that way before 2,000 years before the Buddha, even 2 to 3,000 years before. That is about, he initiated Lakshman and Ram coming down to the time of Krishna. He gave the science then to all the divine beings. Then he gave it to the Buddha. Then as Kalagdinath, he gave this sacred science to Alexander the Great. And Alexander took with him one of the disciples of Kalagdinath, who was known as Kalinath. And then later he came on throughout the ages till the Middle Ages, initiating the great masters all over the world. And a disciple of Babaji Gorakshanath, known as Chaitanya, initiated the Emperor Aurangzeb into the science of yoga. And they have, according to the Nath tradition, a sect in the Gorakhnath tradition called the Handi Paragnath. The Handi Paragnath is tradition of Aurangzeb. But whether you see in India, whether you see it in the south or the north, they will always be called Nath. The word Nath will always be there. Anandanath, Chaitanath, Sundarnath, Bogarnath. So the Nath tradition is as old as the hills of India. And it is from this tradition that we get the royal science of Kriya Yoga, which is essentially spinal in nature. The path of this supreme knowledge is the spinal pathway. The cerebrospinal path is the way to God. Yoga is the technique. And tomorrow I will be teaching you this sacred science, where you will realize this state and unity with your ultimate reality.